The woman who defied all odds to become China's only female emperor, Wu Zetian's rise to power is nothing short of extraordinary. From a concubine to the founder of the Zhou Dynasty, her reign changed the course of Chinese history. Born in 624 CE, Wu Zetian came into the world as the daughter of a prominent family in the Shaanxi province. Her father, Wu Shihuo, held a respected position as a minister, providing the family with significant social standing. This advantageous background positioned Wu Zetian uniquely within the political landscape of her time, allowing her to navigate the complexities of imperial China with relative ease. Growing up in an influential household, she experienced a life marked by privilege. Her family's wealth afforded her access to the cultural and educational resources of the era, fostering an early appreciation for literature and the arts. Wu Zetian's upbringing emphasized the importance of intelligence and cunning, qualities that would later define her reign. Though the specifics of her early childhood remain largely undocumented, it's clear her family instilled in her a sense of ambition and purpose. They encouraged her to be resourceful and assertive, traits that would serve her well in a male-dominated society. As a young girl, she likely witnessed the political intrigues that characterized the Sui and Tang dynasties. These experiences would shape her understanding of power dynamics and influence her future decisions. Growing up in a privileged environment, Wu Zetian received an education that was both unconventional and tailored to her ambitions. Unlike many girls of her time, she wasn't confined to traditional feminine roles. Her family recognized her intelligence and potential, providing her with access to literary and philosophical texts typically reserved for boys. This unique upbringing allowed her to immerse herself in the classics, developing a keen understanding of Confucian principles, poetry, and history. Wu Zetian's education emphasized critical thinking and debate, skills that would later serve her well in the male-dominated palace politics. She studied under the guidance of accomplished scholars who nurtured her intellect and ambitions. Her father, a local official, encouraged her to express her opinions, fostering an environment where she could challenge societal norms. As a result, she became well-versed in the art of rhetoric, which would prove invaluable in her future endeavors. Her education extended beyond academics. Wu Zetian learned the intricacies of etiquette and governance, preparing her for a life in the court. She also trained in music and dance, enhancing her social skills and charm. This multifaceted education equipped her with the tools necessary to navigate the complexities of court life, setting her apart from other women of her era. In a time when women were often overlooked, Wu Zetian's unusual education not only shaped her character, but also laid the foundation for her future as one of China's most formidable leaders. After honing her intellect and skills, Wu Zetian entered Emperor Taizong's court in 636 CE, where her sharp mind and unique background quickly set her apart. At just 14 years old, she joined the hallowed halls of the Tang Dynasty's imperial palace, initially as a low-ranking concubine. However, she didn't stay unnoticed for long. Wu's ability to engage in philosophical discussions and her keen understanding of court politics distinguished her from other women vying for the emperor's favor. Unlike many of her peers, she'd been educated in the Confucian classics and could articulate her thoughts with clarity. This intellectual edge allowed her to navigate the complexities of court life with confidence. As she settled into her new role, Wu also demonstrated a deep understanding of the emperor's goals and aspirations. She began to influence decisions, subtly offering insights that showcased her political acumen. Her charisma and sharp wit attracted not only Taizong's attention, but also the admiration of influential courtiers. Although Wu initially aimed to secure her position within the court, her ambitions quietly began to grow. She viewed her entry into the imperial circle as just the beginning of a grander plan. Although Wu Zetian entered Taizong's court as a low-ranking concubine, her sharp intellect and strategic thinking quickly allowed her to navigate the intricate dynamics of palace life. She observed the power plays and rivalries that permeated the court, learning from them to bolster her own standing. With each passing day, she cultivated relationships with influential officials and other concubines, positioning herself as a key player in the emperor's inner circle. Wu's keen understanding of court politics enabled her to discern the weaknesses of her rivals. She utilized subtle manipulation and charm, ensuring that her influence grew steadily. While Taizong ruled with a firm hand, he appreciated Wu's intelligence and often sought her counsel on matters of governance, even if he didn't publicly acknowledge her input. She became adept at balancing her roles, both as a concubine and an advisor, skillfully maintaining her allure while strategically asserting her presence in discussions. Her ability to read the emotions and motivations of others set her apart. She often hosted gatherings, allowing her to consolidate power by fostering loyalty among those who frequented her quarters. As whispers of her cunning nature circulated, many began to see her not merely as a concubine, but as a formidable force within the court. In this atmosphere of intrigue and ambition, Wu Zetian's rise was inevitable. In 649 CE, following Emperor Taizong's death, Wu Zetian faced a new landscape as she entered Gaozong's court. The atmosphere shifted dramatically as the power dynamics changed with the young emperor now at the helm. Wu, once a favored concubine, recognized the necessity of adapting her strategies to maintain influence. The court buzzed with intrigue, and she knew that the political landscape required not only charm, but also cunning. Gaozong, though inexperienced, quickly established himself as a ruler who sought to consolidate power. Wu understood this and began to navigate the complexities of the court. She observed the relationships forming around her and carefully aligned herself with key figures who could bolster her standing. This period wasn't just about survival, it was about seizing opportunities. Wu also faced competition from other concubines, each vying for Gaozong's favor. She was determined not to be overshadowed. Her intelligence and ambition shone through as she crafted alliances and engaged in subtle manipulations. The court's gossip and rumors swirled, but Wu remained focused on her goals, knowing that her past experiences would serve her well. As Gaozong settled into his role, Wu Zetian patiently laid the groundwork for her future. She understood that the shift to a new court environment was fraught with challenges, yet she was prepared to face them head-on, positioning herself as a formidable presence in the political arena. As Wu Zetian maneuvered through the complexities of Gaozong's court, her relentless ambition and strategic acumen soon caught the young emperor's eye. She adeptly navigated the intricate social dynamics, establishing herself as a formidable presence among the other consorts. Wu understood that securing Gaozong's favor was essential for her aspirations. Every encounter was a calculated move, showcasing her intelligence and charm. By 651 CE, her efforts bore fruit when Gaozong designated her as his consort. This title elevated her status, allowing her to influence court decisions and gain a foothold in the power structure. Wu's rise didn't happen overnight. She skillfully built alliances with key officials and navigated rivalries within the harem. Gaozong, impressed by her wit and resolve, found himself drawn to her. Unlike other consorts, Wu displayed a unique blend of loyalty and ambition, traits that intrigued the young ruler. She didn't shy away from expressing her opinions, often engaging Gaozong in discussions about governance and policy. This intellectual connection further deepened their bond. As Wu settled into her new role, she seized the opportunity to showcase her capabilities. Her influence began to extend beyond personal affairs as she quietly positioned herself to play a significant role in the political landscape of the Tang Dynasty. While Wu Zetian's ascent as Gaozong's consort marked a significant milestone, her ambitions didn't stop there. In 654 CE, she began to secure her position through clever manipulation of court politics. Recognizing the fragility of her status, Wu skillfully navigated the treacherous waters of the imperial court. She understood that to maintain influence, she needed to eliminate potential rivals and strengthen her ties with the emperor. Wu Zetian employed a combination of charm and intelligence to win Gaozong's favor. She often presented herself as the emperor's most loyal supporter, subtly playing on his insecurities and desires. By showcasing her political acumen, she convinced him that her insights were invaluable for governance. This created a dependency that further solidified her position. Additionally, Wu adeptly fostered alliances with key officials and influential family members. She forged relationships with powerful figures, ensuring that they backed her ambitions. By doing so, she created a network of supporters who'd help her navigate the complexities of court politics. Her most notorious tactic involved the manipulation of information. Wu spread rumors about her competitors, sowing discord among them and undermining their standing. This strategy effectively weakened the opposition while elevating her own status in the eyes of the emperor. Through these cunning maneuvers, Wu Zetian laid the groundwork for her future dominance. Wu Zetian's family life played an essential role in her rise to power, particularly with the birth of her sons and daughters. As the only woman to rule China in her own right, her children became vital to her political strategy. Wu gave birth to several children during her marriage to Emperor Gaozong, including 2 sons and 2 daughters. These children not only solidified her position within the imperial family, but also helped her gain influence over the court. Her sons, Li Hong and Li Xian, were positioned as heirs apparent. Wu nurtured their ambitions, ensuring they understood the intricacies of governance. By fostering a close relationship with them, she aimed to secure her legacy and maintain her power through their ascension. The daughters, particularly Princess Taiping, also played pivotal roles in Wu's political maneuvers. They engaged in strategic marriages that strengthened alliances with powerful families and bureaucrats. Despite the traditionally subordinate role of women in the Tang Dynasty, Wu effectively utilized her children's status to navigate the male-dominated political landscape. She knew that a strong family could provide her with the necessary support to maneuver through the complexities of court politics. Her maternal instincts intertwined with her political ambitions as she carefully orchestrated their upbringing. In this way, the births of her sons and daughters weren't merely personal milestones. They became integral to her overarching strategy for power, allowing her to craft a dynasty that would solidify her legacy for generations to come. Though Emperor Gaozong initially held the reins of power, his reliance on Wu Zetian grew as she deftly navigated the complexities of court life. From the beginning, Wu understood the intricate dynamics at play, using her intelligence and political acumen to influence decisions subtly. She positioned herself as a trusted advisor, guiding Gaozong through challenges while also consolidating her own power. As time passed, Wu's influence became increasingly evident. She often provided counsel on matters of state, shaping policies that aligned with her vision for the empire. Her insight into governance earned her respect among the courtiers and solidified her standing within the court. Wu's ability to win loyalty from key officials allowed her to create a network of supporters, further strengthening her position. Gaozong often found himself swayed by Wu's opinions, which she presented with persuasive eloquence. Her approach was strategic. She balanced her ambitions with a careful display of loyalty to the emperor. This duality allowed her to maintain the facade of subservience while effectively steering the direction of the imperial court. As Wu Zetian's influence expanded, she became a pivotal figure in Gaozong's reign. The emperor increasingly relied on her judgment, often deferring to her expertise in essential matters. As Emperor Gaozong's health declined in 683 CE, the power dynamics within the Tang Dynasty shifted dramatically. Stricken by illness, Gaozong became increasingly reliant on his wife, Wu Zetian, who'd already begun to assert her influence in matters of state. His deteriorating condition left a vacuum of power that Wu was more than willing to fill. During this period, the court witnessed the subtle yet strategic maneuvering of Wu as she prepared to solidify her authority. With Gaozong often incapacitated, she took on more responsibilities, effectively managing the administration and surrounding herself with loyal officials. This shift in power created tension among the court aristocracy, who feared Wu's growing influence and the implications it held for their own standing. Gaozong's death loomed closer, and the question of succession became increasingly critical. While he designated his son, Emperor Zhongzong, as his successor, many at court speculated on Wu's intentions. Her ambitions were no secret, and whispers of her desire to rule directly began to circulate. As the emperor's condition worsened, Wu's presence became more pronounced, leading to a complex interplay of loyalty, ambition, and treachery. With Gaozong's eventual passing, the foundations for Wu Zetian's future reign were laid. Her rise from the shadows of her husband's court would soon unfold, forever altering the course of Chinese history. Following Emperor Gaozong's death, a power struggle erupted in the Tang Dynasty, culminating in the deposition of his son, Emperor Zhongzong, in 684 CE. The turmoil began when Wu Zetian, Gaozong's influential wife, maneuvered to strengthen her position. Although Zhongzong ascended the throne, he quickly found himself overshadowed by his mother's relentless ambition and political acumen. Zhongzong's reign started with promise, but soon devolved into chaos. Wu Zetian sought to consolidate her power, often undermining her son's authority. She manipulated court officials and the imperial family, fostering an environment of suspicion and fear. Zhongzong struggled to assert his independence, but his mother's grip on the court rendered him ineffective. As the months passed, tensions escalated. Wu Zetian's faction began to dominate key positions, sidelining Zhongzong's supporters. The emperor found himself increasingly isolated, unable to rally the loyalty of his officials. In a desperate attempt to reclaim power, he made several ineffective moves that only deepened his mother's resolve. With Emperor Zhongzong increasingly marginalized, Wu Zetian seized the opportunity to establish a regency government that would solidify her control over the Tang Dynasty. Recognizing the emperor's waning authority, she positioned herself as the de facto ruler, maneuvering her way into a role that allowed her to make vital decisions without facing direct opposition. Wu Zetian appointed loyal officials to key positions, effectively sidelining potential rivals. She consolidated power by creating a network of supporters who owed their positions to her. This strategy not only guaranteed her dominance, but also cultivated a sense of loyalty among the bureaucratic elite. Additionally, she utilized her influence over the royal family, manipulating relationships to guarantee that her interests remained protected. Under her regency, Wu Zetian focused on centralizing authority and enhancing the efficiency of governance. Her leadership style, characterized by decisiveness and ambition, allowed her to implement policies that would later redefine the Tang era. She navigated the complexities of court politics, skillfully outmaneuvering those who dared to challenge her authority. As she established her regency government, Wu Zetian also worked to strengthen the military, guaranteeing that she'd the means to protect her regime from external threats. Her strategic thinking and tactical decisions laid the groundwork for a powerful reign. Recognizing the need for a more effective administration, Wu Zetian implemented sweeping reforms that transformed the bureaucratic landscape of the Tang Dynasty. She understood that a capable administration was essential for maintaining her power and guaranteeing the stability of her rule. One of her key initiatives was the promotion of meritocracy within the civil service. Wu Zetian expanded the imperial examination system, allowing individuals from diverse backgrounds to compete for government positions based on their abilities rather than their family connections. Additionally, she restructured the central government, creating new ministries to streamline decision-making processes. This restructuring allowed her to exert greater control over the administration and improve the efficiency of governance. By appointing loyal officials, many of whom were women, she guaranteed her policies were implemented effectively and her authority remained unchallenged. Wu Zetian also focused on local governance. She encouraged local leaders to take responsibility for their regions, promoting accountability and responsiveness to the needs of the populace. This decentralization of power helped address local issues more effectively and fostered a sense of loyalty among the people. Furthermore, she was known for her rigorous enforcement of laws and regulations. By cracking down on corruption and mismanagement, Wu Zetian aimed to instill a sense of discipline within her administration. While Wu Zetian's domestic reforms strengthened her grip on power, her military campaigns and diplomatic efforts were equally crucial in securing the Tang Dynasty's borders and enhancing its prestige. Empress Wu understood that a strong military presence was essential for both defense and expansion. She actively supported military expeditions against the Tibetan Empire and the various nomadic tribes along the northern frontiers. Under her rule, the Tang army achieved significant victories, pushing back threats and consolidating control over strategic territories. Wu Zetian's military strategies weren't solely about conquest. She also prioritized diplomacy. Her reign saw the establishment of alliances with neighboring states, which helped to stabilize the region. By marrying off members of the royal family to foreign leaders, she fostered goodwill and strengthened political ties. These diplomatic maneuvers enabled the Tang dynasty to enjoy a period of relative peace, allowing trade and cultural exchanges to flourish. As Wu Zetian sought to unify her empire and legitimize her rule, she became a significant patron of Buddhism, recognizing the religion's potential to foster social cohesion and cultural identity. Wu understood that by supporting Buddhism, she couldn't only enhance her authority, but also appeal to a diverse population united by spiritual beliefs. Her patronage manifested in various forms, including the construction of temples, the commissioning of Buddhist texts, and the promotion of monastic communities. Under her reign, Buddhist institutions flourished. She allocated resources to build grand temples, such as the renowned Yongfu Temple, which attracted monks and pilgrims alike. Wu also encouraged the translation of important Buddhist scriptures into Chinese, making the teachings more accessible to her subjects. This effort helped solidify Buddhism's influence in Chinese culture, intertwining it with the political landscape. Moreover, Wu's support for Buddhism extended to the establishment of state-sponsored rituals and ceremonies, which reinforced her image as a divinely sanctioned ruler. She often associated herself with Buddhist principles, portraying her governance as a continuation of the Buddha's teachings. This strategic alignment not only strengthened her legitimacy, but also endeared her to the Buddhist community. Wu Zetian implemented a series of innovative economic and agricultural policies that aimed to strengthen her empire's stability and prosperity. Recognizing the importance of agriculture for sustaining her population, she introduced land reforms that redistributed land from wealthy aristocrats to poorer farmers. This not only alleviated poverty but also boosted agricultural productivity as more people were able to cultivate land effectively. To further enhance agricultural output, Wu promoted advancements in farming techniques. She encouraged the use of new tools and irrigation methods, which allowed farmers to maximize their yields. The introduction of drought-resistant crops also played a significant role in ensuring food security during challenging climatic conditions. As a result, the empire experienced a substantial increase in grain production, which helped stabilize food prices. Wu Zetian also understood the importance of trade in stimulating the economy. She established trade routes that connected her empire, with neighboring regions facilitating the exchange of goods and ideas. This not only enriched her empire culturally, but also provided a considerable revenue stream through taxes on trade. Moreover, she implemented fiscal policies that improved the efficiency of tax collection. By standardizing tax rates and reducing corruption, the state could secure a steady income to fund public works and military endeavors. The stability and prosperity achieved through Wu Zetian's economic and agricultural policies faced significant challenges in 705 CE. As her rule progressed, opposition began to mount, fueled by discontent among the aristocracy and growing resentment among Confucian scholars. These factions criticized her authority, arguing that a woman shouldn't hold the highest power in a patriarchal society. They viewed her position as an affront to tradition and sought to undermine her legitimacy. Additionally, various court officials, disillusioned with Wu's increasingly autocratic style, formed coalitions to challenge her decisions. They believed her policies favored her supporters while neglecting the needs of the broader populace. This perception of favoritism weakened her standing among the elite and created a rift within the court. Furthermore, in 705 CE, Wu Zetian faced a particularly significant threat when her own son, Li Xian, expressed dissatisfaction with her reign. Encouraged by discontented officials, he sought to reclaim power, which posed a direct challenge to her authority. Wu was forced to navigate a delicate political landscape, balancing loyalty and ambition among her own family members. Despite these challenges, Wu Zetian remained resolute. She employed her political acumen to suppress dissent, solidifying her power through strategic alliances and calculated purges of her rivals. While mounting pressures from her opponents threatened her rule, Wu Zetian made a pivotal decision in 705 CE to abdicate in favor of her son, Li Xian. This move shocked the court and the empire, as Wu had been a formidable leader who'd reigned for over half a century. However, recognizing the growing discontent among the aristocracy and the military, she sought to preserve stability within the Tang Dynasty. After her abdication, Wu Zetian arranged for a smooth handover of power. She retained significant influence behind the scenes, ensuring that her policies and reforms continued to shape the empire. Li Xian, now Emperor Zhongzong, initially relied on his mother's guidance, allowing her to maintain control over key decisions. This arrangement seemed to satisfy both the elite factions and the common people, who'd grown accustomed to Wu's progressive governance. During this period, Wu Zetian's legacy continued to flourish. She'd implemented various reforms that improved the civil service and promoted talented individuals based on merit rather than noble birth. The administrative changes she initiated remained essential in sustaining the Tang Dynasty's prosperity after her abdication. However, as time passed, Li Xian began to assert his authority, gradually distancing himself from his mother. This shift in power dynamics set the stage for future challenges. Although her reign had brought significant advancements to the Tang Dynasty, cracks began to appear in its foundation soon after her abdication. The political landscape shifted dramatically as factions that had been suppressed during Wu Zetian's rule rose to prominence. Without her strong leadership, rivalries among the aristocracy intensified, leading to instability within the court. The new emperor, Zhongzong, struggled to maintain control over these factions. His attempts at governance were undermined by power struggles as influential families sought to regain their former power. Additionally, Wu Zetian's policies, which had favored meritocracy in the civil service, began to erode. This shift back to aristocratic privilege diminished the efficiency and effectiveness of the administration. Moreover, the empire faced external pressures. The Tang Dynasty, once a formidable force, found itself engaged in costly military campaigns against nomadic tribes in the north and west. Resources dwindled, and public sentiment grew restless. After stepping down from the throne, Wu Zetian found herself maneuvering the complexities of life in retirement with the same shrewdness that characterized her reign. Although she no longer held absolute power, her influence didn't wane entirely. Living in the palace, she maintained a watchful eye on the political landscape, keen to guarantee her legacy persisted. Wu embraced a quieter life, engaging in scholarly pursuits and cultivating her garden. The tranquility of her surroundings offered her solace, yet her mind remained sharp and alert. She often entertained visitors, sharing her wisdom and experiences with those who sought her counsel. Many admired her intellect and life story, which only reinforced her status as a significant figure in Chinese history. Despite her withdrawal from the throne, Wu's family connections kept her entwined in court affairs. She wasn't oblivious to the machinations of her successors, especially as her children, who'd taken on roles of power, navigated their own political challenges. Occasionally, she offered discreet advice, guaranteeing her voice still echoed within the palace walls. While some viewed her retirement as a fall from grace, Wu Zetian saw it as a new chapter. She relished in the freedom to reflect on her extraordinary life and the choices that had shaped an empire. In her heart, she remained a formidable force, forever a part of the grand narrative of her dynasty, and her legacy continued to inspire those around her. As Wu Zetian's legacy endured, artists sought to capture her complex persona in various forms of art. From classical paintings to sculptures, they depicted her not just as a ruler, but as a multifaceted individual who defied conventions. Many artists focused on her power, illustrating her in regal attire, often adorned with elaborate jewelry that symbolized her authority. These representations emphasized her status as China's only female emperor, showcasing her strength and intelligence. In traditional Chinese painting, Wu Zetian appeared alongside prominent figures of her time, often depicted in court scenes that highlighted her influence over state affairs. Artists paid careful attention to her facial expressions, aiming to convey her ambitious spirit and cunning nature. Some works even captured her moments of solitude, suggesting the loneliness that accompanied her rise to power. Sculptures also played a significant role in immortalizing Wu Zetian. Statues often portrayed her in a commanding pose, reflecting her dominance and the respect she commanded. These three-dimensional representations allowed viewers to engage with her legacy in a tangible way, reinforcing her place in history. Moreover, modern interpretations of Wu Zetian continue to emerge as contemporary artists explore her life through various mediums, including film and digital art. They investigate her complexities, challenging traditional narratives and inviting audiences to reconsider her impact on Chinese history. Wu Zetian's remarkable journey came to an end on December 16705 CE, marking the close of an era defined by her unprecedented rule. At the age of 82, she passed away in the palace, leaving behind a legacy that would resonate through Chinese history. Her death wasn't just the end of a formidable reign, it signified the conclusion of a unique chapter in a patriarchal society where a woman claimed the highest power. In her final days, Wu Zetian remained engaged in the affairs of state, demonstrating her characteristic tenacity. Despite her declining health, she maintained a keen interest in governance, often evaluating matters with the same sharp intellect that had propelled her to the throne. Her passing prompted a mix of grief and relief among her courtiers and subjects. Some mourned the loss of a ruler who championed reforms and promoted meritocracy, while others welcomed the return to traditional dynastic male leadership. Upon her death, Wu Zetian was honored with a burial that befitted her status, interred in a lavish tomb filled with treasures reflecting her reign's opulence. Her legacy persisted as subsequent dynasties grappled with the implications of her rule and the power she wielded as a woman. Even after her death, the impact of her governance continued to influence the political landscape of China, ensuring that her name would endure in history as a symbol of female authority and resilience. How has Wu Zetian's extraordinary life inspired literary works throughout the centuries? This remarkable empress has captured the imagination of countless authors, poets, and playwrights, leading to a rich tapestry of literature that explores her complex character and unprecedented rule. Her rise from concubine to the only female emperor in Chinese history provides a compelling narrative, one filled with ambition, cunning, and intelligence. In classical Chinese literature, Wu Zetian often appears as a symbol of power and femininity. Works like The Romance of the Three Kingdoms reference her influence, while various poems celebrate her reign, portraying her as a wise and capable leader. Modern adaptations, including novels and films, have further immortalized her legacy by reinterpreting her life through contemporary lenses, often emphasizing themes of female empowerment and resilience. In the domain of drama, Wu Zetian's story has inspired numerous operas and stage plays, showcasing her as a dynamic figure who defied societal norms. These performances often highlight her strategic mind and emotional depth, inviting audiences to reflect on the complexities of her character. The Qianling Mausoleum stands as a tribute to the grandeur of the Tang Dynasty and the remarkable legacy of Empress Wu Zetian. Located in Shanxi province, this mausoleum serves as the final resting place for Wu Zetian and her husband, Emperor Gaozong. Built between 684 and 704 AD, it embodies the artistic and architectural styles of the era, showcasing the dynasty's wealth and cultural sophistication. The expansive site covers over 16 square kilometers, featuring a series of tombs and monuments. The main tomb, where Wu Zetian lies, is flanked by impressive stone sculptures of animals and warriors, reflecting the belief in protecting the deceased in the afterlife. Visitors often marvel at the intricate carvings that tell stories of strength and loyalty, symbolic of the Empress's own reign. Notably, the mausoleum also includes the tombs of several other Tang emperors and empresses, emphasizing the dynasty's connection to Wu Zetian's legacy. The layout signifies the importance of family and royal lineage in Tang society. Despite the passage of time, the Qianling Mausoleum remains a significant historical site, attracting scholars and tourists alike. Its preservation offers a glimpse into the splendor of the Tang Dynasty and the influential role Wu Zetian played in shaping China's history. Although often overshadowed by her male counterparts, Empress Wu Zetian's reign invites a deeper understanding of gender dynamics in ancient China. As the only woman to officially rule as emperor, her story challenges traditional narratives surrounding female authority and power. Wu Zetian skillfully navigated a patriarchal society, utilizing intelligence and political acumen to rise from a concubine to the throne. Her reign, often marked by controversy, also exemplifies the complexities women faced in asserting their influence during dynastic rule. Wu's policies, including meritocratic advancements and support for Buddhism, highlight her commitment to governance beyond mere power struggles. By promoting capable individuals regardless of their background, she laid the groundwork for a more inclusive administration. This approach not only destabilized entrenched elite structures, but also offered women a glimpse of potential empowerment within the confines of a male-dominated society. Critics often paint Wu Zetian as tyrannical, focusing on her ruthless tactics to eliminate rivals. However, analyzing her reign through a contemporary lens reveals a multifaceted leader who understood the harsh realities of her time. Her legacy forces modern historians to reconsider the role of women in power and the impact they can have on political landscapes. Wu Zetian's extraordinary journey from a concubine to the only female emperor in Chinese history is a demonstration of her intelligence and resilience. Her reign not only transformed the Tang Dynasty through significant reforms and military successes, but also left a lasting impact on Chinese culture and politics. Despite the controversies surrounding her rule, Wu's legacy continues to be debated and celebrated, highlighting her role as a powerful figure in history who defied traditional gender norms.